The late great comedian Mitch Hedberg had a joke about pancakes and how they're all exciting and delicious when you first dig in, but by the time you finally get to the bottom of the stack, you're totally sick of them. That's exactly how millions of classic rock fans, myself included, feel about every single song on this list. Are they bad songs? No, not at all. Quite the opposite in most cases. Almost all of these songs totally rock, or at least did when they came out. But after decades of having them shoved down our throats, or ears or whatever, by radio stations, MTV, streaming services, and even the artists themselves who feel pressured to perform these songs every time they play live, most rock fans are as sick of hearing these songs as I am. But luckily for you, I'm not yet sick of making fun of them. In this video, I'm going to talk about 10 of the most overplayed rock songs of all time. The list could easily be 10 times as long, so I'll probably make 10 times more videos like this in the future, assuming this one gets more than 10 views. So, for the next 10 or so minutes, listen to me tend to this list of the 10 most overplayed songs in classic rock history. Number 1, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. If there was a literal stairway to heaven, I'd be the first to start climbing. But not because I feel I've earned the right to enter the pearly gates, or because I think it'd be cool to hang out with the one and only JC. Maybe if he could turn water to weed, or wine to weed, ale to weed, basically anything to weed, he'd be fun to chill with. But I'm ascending the stairway to heaven because that's got to be the only place in the entire world you won't hear this song being played in an elevator, a car commercial, by some dude at an open mic, and everywhere else you go. Now, if you're like 9 years old, you might not be sick of Stairway yet because you probably only heard it a few thousand times thus far. That's actually a testament to how good a song it is. Most songs get stale after you've heard them a few times. Stairway to Heaven requires somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 listens to finally get sick of it. But for just about every person over the age of 20, those 10,000th listen came and went a long time ago. And now, you're just as sick of this overplayed song as the rest of us. Stairway to Heaven is one of the greatest rock songs of all time, so it's one of the most loved. But Stairway is also one of the most overplayed rock songs of all time, so it's also one of the most hated. In other words, it's a kick-ass song that totally rocks, but that no rocker wants to hear for the 1000th time this year, blasting in his ears. Unless maybe after he slammed about 15 beers. Number 2, Highway to Hell by AC/DC. If you're trying to get away from having to listen to yet another overplayed rock song, a highway going down will get you away much faster than a stairway going up. There's just one problem. This highway goes to hell. And I can't imagine anything more hellish than having to listen to the songs on this list over and over again for all eternity. The road to hell might be paved with good intentions, but the soundtrack to hell is played with these 10 songs repeating indefinitely. Satan must have really liked the song Highway to Hell because less than a year after it came out, he invited AC/DC singer Bon Scott to come join him in the underworld. Scott, apparently eager to accept the invitation, got in his car on a cold 1980 evening and floored it down the highway to accidental alcohol poisoning. Bon Scott showed us that not only is it a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, it's also a short way to the bottom if you want to mix hard drugs and alcohol. Now, personally, I don't love or hate AC/DC, but I do respect them. They're considered one of the greatest hard rock bands of all time. Spanning their 50-year career, AC/DC has released 16 studio albums, 54 singles, and nearly 200 songs in total. Yet for as long as I can remember, the only songs I hear by them are Back in Black, Highway to Hell, and maybe one or two others. For those about to rock, I salute you. For those about to play Highway to Hell for the billionth time, fuck you. Number 3, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Nope, it's just one more overplayed rock song, and a weird one at that. Whether from classic rock radio, Wayne's World, or somewhere else, everyone knows Bohemian Rhapsody. Yet no one has the slightest clue what it's about, including the dude who wrote it. Whenever asked about the song's meaning, Freddie Mercury gave vague answers like, it's about relationships, or the even less satisfying, it's just random rhyming nonsense. Freddie might not have been able to tell you what his song's about, but I can. It's about 3 minutes too long and played way too damn often along with 3 other Queen songs. We Will Rock You is a song that we will thank you for never playing again. Likewise, you'll forever be considered a champion if you can somehow make it so no one ever has to hear We Are the Champions at any more social or sporting events. But don't stop me now. There's another one that needs to bite the dust. Crazy Little Thing Called Love is a shitty little song I hate. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Queen is killer. Freddie Mercury was one of the greatest singers of all time. Definitely somebody to love. But I wish a fat-bottomed girl would come along and plop down on Bohemian Rhapsody and Queen's other overplayed hits, putting them under pressure until they break so I'd never have to hear them again. If she did, I'd thank her and say, "You're my best friend." Number 4, Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf was born to be wild, just like this song was destined to be overplayed. For decades, Born to be Wild's been a classic rock radio staple, it's played at sporting events, and I've even heard it in diaper commercials. Since there probably isn't a song called Born to be a Toddler with a shit-filled diaper getting chased around the house by his father, I guess I can't blame the advertisers for using this song. Still, it's way overplayed, but I don't quite understand why. Personally, I find the song Born to be Wild boring and to be mild. Magic Carpet Ride's a much better song, yet I feel like it gets played way less often. Maybe it's because the lyrics are so fucking creepy. I should probably warn young children, if some self-proclaimed, born to be wild dude tries to convince you he's got a magic carpet and says, "Why don't you come with me, little girl," offering to give you a ride, if you know it's good for you, you'll turn around and run as fast as you can. Steppenwolf might be out looking for adventure in whatever comes their way, but what I can only hope never comes my way again is the song Born to be Wild. This nature's child would smile if it was thrown onto the mile-high pile of reviled songs to be forever exiled. Number 5. Hotel California by the Eagles. Welcome to the Hotel California. California used to be a lovely place, just like Hotel California used to be a lovely song. But after years of the former being overpopulated and the latter being overplayed, most people are now totally over both the state and the song. Though some people insist Hotel California's lyrics are only about things like drug use and cults, cool stuff, it's far more likely they're a criticism of the 1970s Los Angeles music scene and, more broadly, of American consumerism in general. According to the guys who wrote Hotel California, it's a metaphor for the country's ever-increasing narcissism and greed, as well as the ever-decreasing likeliness of the American dream remaining a reality. As it turns out, they weren't wrong. Today, the American dream is as dead as Eagles founding members Glenn Frey and Randy Meisner. Yet their creation, Hotel California, lives on to be overplayed for all eternity. Since I've never been an Eagles fan, I couldn't care less about Frey or Meisner's death, nor do I care if any of the surviving members of this band live or die. What I do care about, what I would like to see even more than the American dream come back to life, is for Hotel California to finally, once and for all, die. You want to show off your love of music with a comfortable, stylish, and affordable t-shirt like this one? How about one of these? You can find shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, and other cool music-related merch at MusicBSharp.com. Not only are all products reasonably priced and of the highest quality, every order helps to support this channel. But best of all, with your awesome new MusicBSharp merch, you'll be able to look down at every single one of your music-loving friends who haven't yet picked up any cool stuff from MusicBSharp.com. MusicBSharp.com. Number 6, Sweet Home Alabama by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Right off the bat, the title of this song raises some questions. Have you ever been to Alabama? I have, and there's nothing sweet about it. Maybe if this song was called Sweet Home Hawaii or Sweet Home Miami, the title would make more sense. Hell, even Sweet Home California would have been better. Truth is, no one gives a shit about Alabama. You think the Eagles song in number 5 would have been as overplayed if it was called Hotel Alabama? Somehow I doubt it. Just like I doubted that anyone who's actually from Alabama would write a song about how sweet it is. And sure enough, turns out none of the members of Lynyrd Skynyrd were originally from Alabama. They were all from Florida. So why did they write a song about how sweet a home Alabama is? As far as I can tell, they wrote it for no reason other than to piss off Neil Young, who pissed off them by writing songs critical of Alabama, like Neil's unoriginally titled song, Alabama. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Lynyrd Skynyrd and I'm totally in favor of writing music that serves no purpose other than to piss off other musicians. But, I mean, come on, if you're going to write a diss track, don't beat around the bush by lying and talking about how sweet Alabama is. Instead of being called Sweet Home Alabama, this song should have been called Salty Prick Neil Young or something like that. But I digress. What I can't do is escape this fucking song because it's just as overplayed as Freebird. But at least that song's lyrics make sense. Sweet Home Alabama is an oxymoronic title, just like Sweet Home Alabama is a really moronic song. Number 7, More Than a Feeling by Boston. I've got more than a feeling that you're just as sick of this song as I am, maybe more so. Wherever you go, be it a dive bar, a car show, the grocery store, you're going to hear this freaking song. More Than a Feeling is more than overplayed. I have less of a feeling and more of a certainty that this song is awful. Now, you might think that since I'm from Boston, I would like Boston, but you'd be wrong. I'll be honest, this is the one band on the list that I truly don't like. While I'm not crazy about Steppenwolf or the Eagles, I genuinely think Boston sucks. The band, not the city. Even the name Boston is lame. At least Wolves and Eagles are cool. But naming your band after wherever you happen to be from is both boring and lazy. What should we call our band? I don't know. Where are we again? Boston. Boston it is. Done. I more or less feel the same way about bands like Chicago, Kansas, and Alabama that I do about Boston, i.e., I think they suck. Bands named after cities and states all tend to be terrible. Interestingly, bands named after continents like Asia and Europe often totally rock. Maybe if Boston had gone with a name like North America instead, they would have been less sucky. But I have more than a feeling that it would take more than a name change to make this band more appealing. Even if they had the coolest name in the world, More Than a Feeling remains an overplayed song that I don't want to hear or sing, because like everyone else, I'm sick of the thing. Number 8, Iron Man by Black Sabbath. The more I hear this song, the less time I need to be able to identify what it is. When I was a kid, I had to wait till Ozzy's distorted voice came in. As a teen, I knew it was Iron Man when Tony Iommi's famous opening guitar bend started. Now, all I have to hear is, and I instantly know what song it is. I've heard Iron Man so many times that it just takes that first kick for me to be able to immediately recognize it. As soon as I hear it, my brain goes, I am overplayed. Because I know I'm about to hear Iron Man for the billionth time. The way I feel about Black Sabbath is the exact opposite of how I feel about Boston. In other words, I think they're a kick-ass band with a kick-ass name. However, the way I feel about Iron Man is more or less the same as the way I feel about More Than a Feeling, because I've heard them both more than enough to be equally sick of them. Ozzy-era Sabbath is one of my all-time favorite bands. They recorded 8 studio albums, 6 great, 2, with over 50 songs, and most of them rock just as much, if not more, than Iron Man. Yet that song, along with Paranoid and War Pigs, are the only ones I ever hear on classic rock radio or find on classic rock playlists. Ozzy might have said Never Say Die, but I say fuck that. These way overplayed songs need to be buried. If someone somehow managed to sabotage all 3 of them so that they could never be played again, it would make me technically ecstatic. Number 9, I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Mick Jagger can't get no satisfaction, just like you and I can't get away from this tune. It's one of several overplayed songs by the Stones. These guys have had more hits than I've had good days. So many, in fact, that I could make an entire video just about the 10 most overplayed Rolling Stones songs. And if I did, I Can't Get No Satisfaction would be number 1 on that list. First recorded in 1965, the Stones still play this song live 50 years later, which means that even after all this time, Mick Jagger still ain't satisfied. Like, what's it gonna take, bro? You got fame, fortune, what more do you want? I mean, I understand that you can't always get what you want. Well, I can't always get what I want, but you seem to have always gotten what I want and then some. So how the fuck are you still unsatisfied? Don't start me up. I could ramble until midnight about how sick we are of hearing satisfaction. All of us. Me, Jack, Angie. Give us some shelter from this burdened beast of a song. Even if I popped a handful of Mother's Little Helpers, I'd still want to run away from this song like a wild horse. I know it's only rock and roll, but I don't like it. Satisfaction might have time on its side, but I have no sympathy for this song. If I could somehow paint it black so I wouldn't have to hear it, if I could somehow get this song off my cloud and out of my head forever, then and only then would I be satisfied. Only then would I finally not get no satisfaction. Number 10, Dream On by Aerosmith. In 1963, Martin Luther King famously gave his I Have a Dream speech. Now, I'm going to give mine a speech much less wordy and far more noble. I have a dream. For the song Dream On to vanish from playlists the world over. I have a dream. For men, women, and children of all cultural backgrounds to gather in peace so that they may together listen to Dream On not being played. I have a dream today that songs like Dream On and Stairway will go away with no delay and stay that way. We'll all say, hooray, if we never again have to hear these songs play in a cafe or while driving on the highway, whether in the middle of the night or the middle of the day. If you think the song Dream On is going anywhere, I just got one thing to say to you. Dream on. It ain't. Steven Tyler even repeats the line, sing with me, sing for the years, sing for the laughter, sing for the tears, over and over. As much as we all wish Steven had been bluffing, he wasn't. He's been singing this song for over 50 years. People might have been singing with him for the laughter back then, but now it's solely for the tears since this nightmare of a song is most often sung in bad karaoke bars by drunk wannabe stars. I gotta give Steven Tyler credit. Even though this dude has always looked like a lady, a really fucking ugly one, he's also been a dude with a distinct and impressive voice. Since mine is both unimpressive and indistinct, I could only dream of having a voice like that. I would follow Tyler's advice from the song, dream until your dreams come true, but no amount of dreaming is going to give me a better singing voice, nor is it going to make this or any of the other songs on the list disappear. I wish they'd walk that way, or at the very least live on the edge so I could push them over it. Or, since Janie's got a gun, she can take aim at these 10 songs and hopefully she don't miss a thing. And there you have 10 classic rock songs that are now just suck rock songs because they've been played more times than a drum kit left unattended by its owner. No matter how many times the drummer tells me not to touch his kit while he's out of the room, no matter how many times you or anyone else tells me these 10 songs are still good, I ain't listening to any of you. And I sure as hell ain't listening to any of these songs ever again. Who am I kidding? I'll probably hear every single one of these songs somewhere before the day is over. But now I want to know what classic rock songs I didn't mention that you think are overplayed. Or, better yet, tell me what songs I did mention that you think aren't overplayed. No matter how wrong your opinion is, I still want to hear it, so tell me in the comments.
You're so annoying.
If you like this shirt, it's available in lots of colors and sizes at MusicBSharp.com, along with lots of other music-related merch. If you want to see some exclusive content or get early access to regular episodes of MusicBSharp, check out my Patreon page. And if you'd like to hear some of my unquestionably underplayed music, check out my album Denialism, or search for this dude on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you listen to music.